Okay, well, let me ask you this question, Mr. Chun. I know now, after all the years I've lived here in Punta Gorda, that most of the money comes into Punta Gorda. People make it here, the teachers and other people in town make it here, and I don't see much of this money going back to the village. What's going to happen if all this money goes out to the village for these programs that you have, and I know that they'll be very popular. What are they going to do in that village with all that money?
Well, as I said before, this is the poorest district, and some unprivileged families would use it to further educate their children, and build better homes.
Well, where do they get the nails to build those homes?
Well, they come to Punta Gorda.
To Punta Gorda.
And very few shops now in the villages are being established where you could get those in the villages right now, but not too many. Yeah.
So what you're saying is that the money nowadays just comes into town and stays in town. It doesn't go out there. But if the money goes out there first, those people will take it back into town to buy products and buy things.
Definitely, because this Punta Gorda is the main hub here. Where people come and sell their products, and after that they buy whatever they need or use in their homes, and they have to come to the store in Punta Gorda.
Well, I think in the past I haven't seen a lot of support in town for the Mayan programs to develop and all, but if the townspeople see that this money is going to be coming into them, do you think they'll support the Maya program more?
Well, I believe so, because in the past 5 or 7 years ago, I remember that we had a meeting with the business people in Punta Gorda, and we still have their signatures supporting the Eco Park plan, and I feel that if things start to roll and things start to be created, they will come back and say and support the plan.
That's fantastic. I see you have Mr. Tech here from Bonito Poite. Mr. Tech, what did you come to the TEA office for?
Well, I come to the office for TEA is to get more information or to learn from them. We are far away, like 40 miles away from Punta Gorda town, the remoted community.
Yep.
And whereby we have a lot of resources when it comes to tourism. We have the rivers, we have the jungles, we have caves, we have ruins, we have all those people right now, they're practicing going into organic agriculture. So, and as well as to talk about the history, a little bit about the community that they runs their electricity on solar panels. And this had been operating from since 8 years ago, and I didn't see any problem. And it's natural. It comes, our energy comes straight from the sun.
That's an advancement too, because I don't know, are there any other villages in Toledo that have that big of a solar setup?
There are some communities, but then they haven't taken it like San Benito Poite's one, yeah, because in the other communities some have, some don't have, but in San Benito Poite all family, each house do have a solar panels, and they they run their own system at home. You can even you can run a stereo or an iron or a fan,
Or lights, of course.
Yeah, so
how about a computer? Can you?
And computers too.
Oh,
charge your cameras, like whenever you need it. When you have a camera, you can charge it. You use it there.
So that was one of the oldest villages, but they're one of the most modern in this new technology. And you, I believe you set up a group there, a tourism group.
Okay, to talk about the group, we struggle a lot, like what Mr. Chun said. We have struggled, and we're struggling, and we will continue to struggle. Since 2006 in October, we organized to form a group to come into tourism. I have a bit of experience, not to say that I'm qualified, but I have a bit of experience. What I've learned when I was working outside, I was working for foreigners. Never thinking of, coming into my mind, like working for myself or, to create a community development in my own community. But when I was working, someone came by and said, Nelson, you're a kind of person, you're a smart person, you can create your own thing. Why don't you go to your community and, form something for yourself, create a community development into your community. I said, okay. And when I went back then, I formed a group and I started to visit several families and explain my vision, what my future plans is, and they understand. So in October we formed this group, but
That was last year, was it? Or
in 2006.
2006, yeah.
And we have been looking for fundings, but we didn't find. There are other NGOs, or like we even went to the government, tried to look for some help, but they promised us, Nelson, do this. I was like up and down, wasting a lot of money, even though we are very poor here, but we're still struggling. And we haven't been assisted with any NGOs nor with government. We were told, we were promised, and we have filled a lot of application forms to get grant. But it's sad to say that at the end they tell us that there is no grant for us. So we have been struggling. The group members did their dedication on like sacrificing themselves to give a little fee for to run, for us not to destroy or to to kill the group, to disappear one by one. No, we're still right there. But finally, we made it in 2008. We started to come with an idea of building a guest house, and we had it established in 2010 of this year, and it was inaugurated in the month of May this same year. So we're very happy. We're very happy. Although, like what Mr. Chun said, we're poor and we're far away. Thinking of it, but it's not far away. It's not far away. And like I said, it's a Kekchi community, and that's where, if we started to get people, like tourists coming in, we have the opportunity to share or to teach our language to others. We can teach them. Then maybe if a group stays, if anybody comes and stay with us, they can even learn how to speak Kekchi whenever they reach back to their country, wherever they come from.
That's very popular in Guatemala. Many countries, people are interested in spending time and learning a little bit of the language, just to learn.
Yeah.
So that's a fantastic story, and I know, having been working with Mr. Chun and the TEA, I know exactly what you mean about up and down. I know Mr. Chun has talked about our trials in the TEA for so many years.
That's true.
And you stuck it out, and you fixed your guest house, and you have your group. But what have you had a lot of guests come?
No, just one.
Why do you think that is?
Okay. Our weakness or our problem is, that's the reason we wanted to jump from where we are right now, in the standard where we are right now. We are very low. And our problem is that we are lack of marketing. We needed someone to help us into marketing. So, and I've understand and I've spoke to the TEA, and I was told that if we join in TEA, so we strengthen them so that they can go ahead and try find possibilities how they can provide marketing to our own business there in San Bonito Poite. When we join TEA, it is a matter of working together. They gave us tourists, guests, and then we pay back a certain percentage, and this is a good development. What TEA is doing is such a good development, and I agreed, and the group members did so that's the reason why I'm here right now. But then, like I said, we are lack of marketing.
Well, I would like to, just in my opinion, I would say, I guess I have to say, I would like to correct you. I hope that's not improper, but I wouldn't, when you say you're very, very low, I think you guys are very high. I know Mr. Chun does too, because we've been in this business a long time, and for you to organize on your own, from the community, get your finances, organize your people, find your training, and get to the point that you're at, really shows what we love and what we're talking about in the TEA. And the idea that you see the benefits of the association, and especially mainly through marketing, because you've done so much already. We have some training that we do and that, but I think it's just really great, and I know the TEA, Reyes and I and all of the rest of the members have always discussed it, and it's encouraging to us because it makes the TEA bigger and stronger, more able to get aid and hopefully marketing and support. Now this film that we're making, our friend Jason is making, will go back up to the States. He will try to show it to as many people as he can that are interested in indigenous development, real ecotourism, organic agriculture. I know you work for an important organization that is reforesting and teaching that. And there are many people in the States, especially among Jason's friends, who are really into indigenous rights and into organic food and all that. So I have a feeling, not to put any pressure on him, I know he'll try his best, but I have a feeling he'll find people that want to help. And they will help us in their own ways, you know, maybe from marketing or maybe coming down and enjoying our country, being part of the solution instead of the problem. Go out and visit you in the village and say, I saw you on TV, I want to see these things.
Not only that, I look at it is that if people start to see that we're benefiting, there's a lot of people wants to get into, but we are new yet, you know.
Yeah.
We are just getting in there. But once people start to see that TEA is right there going in, like going to take the lead in.
Yeah.
Without a leader, it's impossible.
Yeah. Well,
So we're expecting and we're hoping that TEA will do such a good leadership.
well, I want
So
to.
whenever we have new people, opportunities are there.
Yeah.
And like I said from before I start talking, I said we have the resources. Right here in Toledo, we have the resources.
We do. And I think with the TEA, especially with the help of Mr. Ock and the Village Council Association, who are getting behind this thing, to really support and demand support, because I didn't, in our interview with Mr. Ock, I don't believe we mentioned it, but 2 months ago, he was up in Bilmopan and there was a presentation by the Peace Corps, the United States Peace Corps, and by the United Nations Small Development Program, and from PACT, our own Protected Area Conservation Trust, and they met with the chairman and said, we want to help you. So now he'll be going back to those same people that said they want to help us, tell him that he has the whole council, the executive behind him, and ask for that help. And then that help will go to all the villages that are involved. Now, Reyes, he has 22 communities in Toledo. It's more than 1/3 of the district that have organized groups. We have 7 working guest houses, and we have 22 total groups that are having plans and all. And your village should make 23 as you come in to the association. So I'm happy to tell you and say on this tape that just last week I met with Mr. Lindsay Garbert. He's going to be the new CEO of the Ministry of Tourism for this country. He personally told me that he will come here he said to call him on January 1st, because that's when he's sworn into this position, in about 3 weeks. And he will come here to meet with us, to meet with you guys, to meet with the leaders of the TEA, and to meet with Mr. Ock, and to hear how this district wants to have this development. And we're hoping that the TEA will be supported by the government to handle community-based tourism, and then the BTIA, that's the Belize Tourism Industry Association, made up of the big people, they will handle their hotels and resorts. And hopefully we will work together and complement each other, because, as Mr. Chun said, there are very few stores in the villages. And when people come here to go out to the attraction in the village, they'll stay the first night in Punta Gorda town. After they have a good time in the village, they may stay another night or 2 in town, going out with our local guides, fishing in the great fishing we have, with hardly any boats out there fishing. It's not like San Pedro, Abergaski. We have a lot of men and women in our Toledo Tour Guide Association, and needing work, and the attraction out in the village, and I know Mr. Chun spoke about this, will bring people to this district, to all the hotels, and as he pointed out, the revenue for government will increase. One reason the government tells us that they haven't helped us develop tourism is because they say they don't make enough return from tourism in Toledo, and we say, how can we come up if you don't help us come up so we can give you more return? And they're not doing it, so we're looking outside for foreign assistance to get us up to where we can pay enough taxes so that the government will see that this is valuable to them and give us more support.
I just want to like run over of what we do, how we operate, you know, and the benefits they're shared. With the TEA, you know, when a person book a reservation, then, you know, either they book on emails or, you know, they just walk in, you know, they come from the Livingston or coming from the bus, they have an office at the BTIA Information Center. We book them and we, you know, brief them off of the do's and don'ts, and they sign, you know, the BTV and return tax, and after that, you know, we give an explanation of the village that they intend to visit, what to expect and what not to expect, and after that they go and catch a local bus. And this is again, you know, a benefit for the local people that owns buses, you know, to the villages. Here in Toledo, we have buses, you know, on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And, you know, they come in the morning early and they leave back to the village at noon. So visitors that want to go to the village, then we actually recommend the village bus so that they could reach the village where they want to go. And when they reach the village, they go and contact the contact person in the TA group, a TA member, and the contact person goes to the TA coordinator, and the coordinator carry the guests to the guest house. And once the visitor, you know, settle down, you know, the women would come in and they would clean the beds, they would sweep up the floor, they would clean the bathrooms, and you know, and then the guests would be, you know, comfortable. Now, for meals, we share meals, you know, with different families. You don't go in a restaurant because most of these villages doesn't have restaurants, and you know, we promote the family type having meals with families. Now, if you want to explore or you want to hike around the village or in the jungle, then we have local guides that are licensed, you know, by the Belize Tourist Board, and they are the ones that will carry out these guests to whatever they want to explore. Now, after, you know, their visit, then they come back to the guest house, and on the last day, they will have like a craft display, where, because in the villages, almost every woman in the village makes crafts out of reinforced materials, and you know, and sometimes they can't sell it in the village. So now, if you come to Punta Gorda, you will see a lot of Indian ladies or children, you know, walking around, you know, from hotels to hotels, you know, selling their crafts and trying to get, you know, a couple. Now, with this program, it will lessen the impacts of children and women walking around. Recently, we lost two children from San Marcos doing sales from door to door. And now, if we have this program established, then people won't come here. They would sell their crafts right in the guest house in their communities, and they will offer them opportunities to get more income from what they do. You know, apart from their sweeping, their bedding, you know, their washing, you know, taking care of the children, they will have something that they could sell. And now, with the program, okay, the 100% the village receive or collect, 20% of that comes to the office. And now when that 20% comes to the office, it's our responsibility at the central office to actually disburse back 5% for health and education and 5% for conservation. And that goes back to the group where the visitors stayed. And the group leader or the coordinator of that village is responsible to hand over this fund to the village alcalde or the parents teacher association or the health committee, so that, you know, they could use it the way it is designed for. And that will benefit the whole community, instead of, like, you know, several members doing their voluntary work in the guest house then the people that are not involved will get some benefit somehow.
That's really a great part of the TEA.